how in the Western world, the education, anybody who's in undergrad has the freedom to choose their major and minor, and they can be with two unrelated subjects. Internships are great scopes, and in today's India, I know that internships are still difficult. It's not as easy to gain good internships, but I think there are lots of sectors, for interns, good places. I have done internships, multiple internships in India.
There was a different world outside Auxilium, and there was a different world inside Auxilium. So until I was in school, I was in Auxilium till my class 10th.
Same.
When I got out of school and when I joined some other school, it was a co-ed school. Okay. And life changed.
To you, you're the most important person in the world. It's like if it's a beach, you think you are the sand castle, but that person is just another tourist who's viewing 100 other sand castles in the beach. If I have a conversation with someone, post conversation, how much time do I invest thinking about it at all?
Right.
I don't. Welcome to another new episode of Student Voice Matters. This is your host, Sonalika Goswami, and today we have with us Pooja Debrai. Pooja will talk about something that she has faced in her life, a confusion after choosing a stream in 11 and 12 and then pursuing the same in college, right? When she found out that that is exactly not her place. So I would not give many introduction, rather I would let her take her place and explain the situation to us. So what happened, Pooja?
Hello. I started taking up commerce when I was in 11th and 12th, as science was not an option for me. And
So was commerce something you wanted to take up, or did it come as a parental desire?
It did not come as a parental desire, but science was not something that I was very good at. And we did not have much knowledge of arts. So the option that was left for commerce. And I was just good at economics, so I thought that, maybe this can be something that can help me in the future. But eventually that did not happen. When lockdown hit us, I started exploring new fields, started, getting idea about the other fields that I can get into. And that's when I could understand that maybe mass comm, journalism, media, digital media is something that I was very passionate about. And, I was not just, it was not just a thought that was there, but I did a 30-day diploma to understand whether, this was something that I really wanted to get into. So after doing that, I thought that why did I even take up commerce?
So when you got into college, the stream that you picked up, what did you say that you went ahead with?
I went ahead with BCom.
Yeah, but you did a 30-day diploma in what? In BCom?
In journalism.
In journalism, just
Right.
to find out if you're interested in that.
Yes, right.
So when you went ahead, I'm trying to understand this, when you went ahead with BCom, that was something that was a natural choice to you.
Yeah, that was actually a forced
Like you studied
choice.
you studied commerce. That's what maximum people tend to do, that because I picked up commerce, my first choice is BCom. That was the same for you. Then how did the journalism diploma come into picture?
Okay, so I, whenever I was in school, I really like talking to people, and I think media is all about talking. A greater part of media is about talking. So I thought that maybe why not? And I've already seen, and at that point of time, digital media was, booming because it was lockdown. People were at their houses, so digital media was something that was booming. And I thought, why not just let me just give it a try? Until and unless I would not try it, I would not know if that thing is for me or not.
And how did you feel post the...
It was amazing. It was something that I was really passionate about. I explored writing. That was something I really liked. I explored how to communicate professionally as per. So that was something that was very new to me, and it was fascinating. It was something beyond the books and beyond maths, commerce and economics. So that is when the interest came in.
But then you had already started with your BCom.
Right, yes.
So did it ever come to your mind that, oh, maybe I can drop out and change?
Dropout was not an option because then we would have a gap year, and companies don't tend to take people who have already had a gap year.
Right. And this is a very important topic because, I know that this might not bring a huge change, you and me talking, but it's also very important to highlight a point that I believe it's okay to have a gap year and change to something that you're interested in, that you
Right.
might, because if once you're interested and invested in something, there's a lot more chance for you to exceed in that field, right? Rather than you pushing and just getting through one thing. Because I believe this is what companies should look at.
Yeah,
That is your
absolutely.
consistency of performance rather than your gap year. Because it might be that you have not given a gap year and you have done your graduation in BCom, but you don't like the subject. I
right.
don't think that one will be able to perform as well in it as they would have, even if they would have taken a year gap and changed their stream to what they like. So I think we should look at more at the consistency of
Right.
performance rather than when they started doing it. Because you know, when I went abroad for my master's, in my batch, there was somebody who was above 20. There were several people above 25. There was one person above 30, and they started doing their masters. And I don't think anybody questioned them, what did you do so
Right.
far? So I think it's fine to, go to your line of education or interest whenever you want to. And that shouldn't be a problem, according to me.
Right. No, no, I mean, it is the same thing that I thought. But at that point, because it was also COVID, I did not think much about it. I thought, we can just go ahead with this. And maybe, like in the meanwhile, I can also explore this field much more and see whether, this is something I want to take forward or not. So while I was in college, I did join a committee, which was a writing committee. So I did write for my college for 3 years. So that was something I explored. Then we had several events in our college, so that was something that I did go for.
Did your I'm so sorry to cut you. Did
No,
your
no.
college have elective papers?
Yeah, it did have one or two elective papers, but that was all related to BCom.
Okay, so you didn't have the option to choose beyond commerce.
No, no, it was just English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that I think also should be raised
Yeah,
as a part
right.
of the conversation, right? I want you to give your opinion first about this, and then I can tell you.
Like when we were in college, when we were giving our papers, we never, everything was related to commerce, financial management, financial risk management. Like, we were not given an option to explore. Had it been, we were given an option to choose some minor subjects, like, maybe psychology and all of that. I mean, it is obviously not a part of commerce, but psychology is a thing that we all need and we all should learn about it. So had it been, we would have had such minor papers, people would have had knowledge about everything rather, just being stuck to their subject.
I don't want to take the name of your college,
Right.
right? But I would like to mention, and I would like to raise a glass to the college that I have done my graduation from, St. Xavier's, because elective papers there were general. You could pick up anything, for electives. I was a mass communication student, and I had a friend who was a mass communication student, and she had a science background, and she was interested in still staying connected to her biology because she loved biology. So she took up biotechnology as an elective paper, which was completely unrelated to mass
Yeah.
communication. And anybody, people from commerce, people from science, anybody could take up electives. I'm not sure about BCom, what the BCom students would do, but I'm pretty sure about science and humanities, and that's what I don't know about your college as well, if it's something different for BCom or something different. But this is what my experience was, that anybody from St. Xavier's was allowed to take up any elective paper of their choice. But I think what the issue was, that it wasn't as vast as one would like it to be. Like, my friend couldn't definitely study. If it was related, probably if she would have taken something related to mass communication, she could have gone ahead with it. Like, I took up journalism as my elective paper, and then I chose
Chose
for
it
my
for
master's.
masters.
But I don't think that she could have done anything with a biotechnology elective paper ahead of it. So yeah, maybe the knowledge in those elective papers weren't as vast, and I think you will agree with
Yes,
that.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Right. And you were talking about major and minors, right?
Right.
Yes, I think 2 days back I was having a conversation with someone, and we were actually discussing how in the Western world, the education, anybody who's in undergrad has the freedom to choose their major and minor, and they can be with two unrelated subjects. So for me, I think this is perfect, because knowledge does not, I mean, you can like two subjects,
right.
right? And they can not have to do anything with each other, and you can still like them, and it doesn't matter as long as you're gaining knowledge,
Right, absolutely. Yeah, so that is what something I was also very concerned. We never had these minor major subjects, and even if there was, it was just English, and in the third year we had an option to choose between finance and marketing. So I went ahead with finance because I thought, finance is something that we would need in our day-to-day lives, and marketing is something that we can learn eventually. Being in the real world and the practical world. So that's how my commerce journey began and ended in my college. But I still do have a passion for communication, media, social media.
So you have recently graduated.
Right.
Are you still in the commerce field, or have
I am actually still in the commerce field.
And you were telling me the reason behind it also. I would like to take you to take it up in details. Is how nobody is willing to let you change right now. Nobody is willing to give you the chance, right? I would like to.
I mean, it's fair enough. I mean, they have not seen an experience. They would obviously choose somebody who's from the same background as they want to take up the job.
Right.
Rather than someone who
Right.
would want to change the background, because nobody has the time to teach you from the start.
Exactly. Like we had before this, you called me one day and you told me
Yeah.
how you were facing the difficulties, as in nobody
Right.
wanted to give you a chance,
Chance.
right? And yeah, what you're saying completely makes sense, because they would like to give somebody else, because there are many more people, and I'm not talking about those who are not like you in commerce. Even though you don't want to be in commerce, there are many people who are probably in these fields and don't want to be in these fields. But there are also a lot of people who are in this field because they love it, because they want to go ahead with it, and their performance is great. So in any world, the companies would choose such candidates and their
absolutely.
performances beyond somebody with very little knowledge about the field, because like you said, they are not going to teach you. They need their work done.
Yes,
They're paying
absolutely.
you for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Right.
they're not paying me to teach the work, and so they would expect the work out of me. And being somebody who has not had the practical knowledge of it, will not be able to perform that well in the first few months, and maybe, but eventually, if given a chance, anybody can learn it.
You were
But-
telling, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, like, but obviously companies don't really tend to take people from the different background, and have faced this. So my only pick up at the moment would be to just learn and try doing something of my
Yeah,
own.
maybe do a diploma course on the
Yeah,
side,
right.
online course or something. But you were also telling me that you worked with Instagram. You just mentioned with a writers community.
Right.
What happened to that?
Okay, so it was not. I was not working through Instagram. I was actually associated with my college collective,
Okay.
which was a writing collective. So what we used to do there is, we had multiple events in our college, and we used to go and cover those events, and we used to write about it, which were to be published on the college website. So I had done that for 3 years.
Okay.
And after that, I thought that I have a good experience in writing. Maybe if not something else, I can also take this up as a content writing or a copywriter thing. But then eventually that also did not work out for my favor, because then again, college experience don't matter.
Did you try interning somewhere?
Yes, actually I did intern in a company as a marketing intern.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So it was a startup. So my primary responsibilities was as a marketing intern, but in the meanwhile, I also did make a few reels for them, because I had this knack of social media.
Right.
So I did all of that. But
So I can, from your way of talking about it, and there's all glitters in your eyes when you're talking about it, I can figure out that you're very interested in the creative industry.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But unfortunately, you did not get an opportunity to have the right start.
Right.
Because first, you did not you couldn't convince yourself, or the situation around you didn't favor the gap year.
Right.
Second is the writers thing, the internships, they did not turn out to be as favorable.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? Did you try getting more internships?
Yeah.
Or did you try interning for any media channel or something?
I did actually. Previously, 2 months back, I did try interning for a very famous newspaper. I would not just want to mention the name, but then eventually, things did not turn out to be very great for me, because similarly, I did not have a background of it.
What were the problems you were facing? Like, because interns, generally it's okay for interns to learn and
Right.
get used to things there. Interns aren't supposed to be experts.
Right, absolutely. But my first and major concern, their first and major concern was that you do not have a background of this, and we would not want you to get into like a proper full-time job. Okay, we need to give you a training, and that training would be massive. Okay, it would not be something that I have a knowledge of.
So they did not want to hire you as an intern.
They wanted to hire me as an intern, but
Yeah.
I was looking for a full-time role because I had
Okay.
already completed. It was
Okay.
like a year's gap that I had completed my graduation. So I was looking for full-time roles, and they told me that we can't hire you full-time because you don't have a prior experience.
I would suggest you this, Pooja, because I think you are too worried about the gap and you don't want to give it a rest. But sometimes it's okay to take a break and begin new if that's what interests you.
Right.
I would say that it would be a very sad situation to drag yourself for years for a thing that you're not interested in. Instead, trust me, in today's market, everybody is in demand if they can do the right work. So I have seen people and I've spoken to people who have started a whole new career at 35 and they're blooming. There's always something for them, right? So I would recommend you something that instead of thinking, oh, this has already been so much time, oh, that has already been so much time, instead of saying that, I would have, if I was somehow speaking to you during that time, I would have told you to take up that internship, because this is what you want to do, right? You want to be in the creative field and you want to learn the creative field. So if you are looking for full-time job, let's figure it out. Nobody's going to hire you for a full-time job when you're not capable for you agree that you're not capable of it,
absolutely.
right? Nobody would want to pay you and teach you at the same time. They would
Right.
want their work done. But internships are great scopes, and in today's India, I know that internships are still difficult. It's not as easy to gain good internships, but I think there are lots of sectors, for interns, good places. I have done internships, multiple internships in India, both online and offline. So I know that there are scopes. So maybe you should just start interning in one place for a while, not maybe for a long time, for like
right.
6 months, 8 months, and then you can be way more confident. If I was in your place, I would be doing internships and trying to fill the gap. Like, yeah, I did a degree in commerce, so what? I have 3 internships, and so I'm not. So I think that eventually, maybe like in a year or two, that will land
can
you in a
make a
good
difference.
full-time job. Right? Because you haven't got a full-time job in something you like. So instead of dragging yourself, and maybe that you're working here and maybe 6 months later you'll actually like the job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
We are just, this is a trial and error method.
Exactly, right? So maybe you did not like studying about it, but maybe you will start liking the work.
Right.
That is possible. But if not, I would tell you it's okay to take a U-turn at times and begin again.
Yeah, right.
Right? Instead of dragging yourself through something unwanted for years.
No, that's absolutely right, and that is the reason I joined where I joined. Because I never knew the work. It was something that I was, studying theoretically. So while we come in the practical world, I was just, like, let's just see it for 6 months. If I start liking it, then why not? I can,
Right.
I
Absolutely.
can in the meanwhile I can study much more about the field that I want to get into. Maybe I
As
can
long as you're not sitting idle and
Yeah.
wasting your time, any time counts useful.
Right, absolutely. So that is the reason I was like, okay, let's just try this for 6 months, and if not, I can get back to what I was willing to go to.
Right, absolutely. I think it's great that you're trying things out and you're taking your time to figure things out. But in the meantime, I think it's okay to take a U-turn. I would tell you this because I think you have mentioned in this podcast twice that how external thoughts of, people judging you for leaving a gap in your resume, it does not matter, because it's not a gap. If you're doing something else, it does not count as a
It's
gap,
gap,
right?
right.
If you're interning, that's not a gap. If you have changed your course, you can explain to them why
Why.
you did so. And I think people will be considerate enough, because companies want their work done. It doesn't matter how many years you took to learn them, right? So yes, so we were, and I think a lot of, I get it, because we were in convent and we were taught a lot about discipline and
Discipline.
value of time and hard work, and all these notions do come into
Yeah,
my mind, right?
absolutely. And
We definitely different batches, but we happen to be from the
same
same
school.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think those are the roots. Those are still there in our minds, and you sometimes seem to be like, this was taught in school. What am I doing right now? Right. So that was something I was also thinking for a long time, and getting back to school. I think, yeah, there were a lot of things that happened in school, like convent schools are generally known to be about the discipline, the values that they teach, and I think we were also from the same school. We also had the same principal,
Yeah.
and we had the same values. And I'm very happy to be in that school, because the values that they had taught me are still there.
Yes, absolutely.
And
And while sometimes they do constrict us from doing something, like they
yeah,
make us think about things
twice.
or thrice at times. Oh, should I do it? Is this what I learned? I think you have to, as long as you do not have a bad intention in your heart.
Yeah,
It's okay to take some steps to evolve with the practical
right,
world.
right, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, school, yeah, it does have good, bad, but I think most of the good things that happened in school was, had I not been in a convent school, I don't think my values would have been this strong. Because everything every day, I mean, even you would remember we had value education every day.
Right, and we had an exam of 50 or 100 marks.
And
exam,
if we would
yeah.
not pass in value education, we would have been failed in that class.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're scoring in
Score
other
is
subjects.
right.
I don't think anybody would fail in value education, but
Yeah.
it was still a
It was
criteria. Yes.
right. So
You were also talking before this podcast began. You were also talking about some of the notions you faced in Auxilium. I would want you to take them up, and then maybe I can have some input in it if I can relate.
yes, absolutely. So, I'm not sure if you faced that or not, but in our batch, during our batch, we were, we were like under a blanket, there was a different world outside Auxilium, and there was a different world inside Auxilium. So, until I was in school, I was in Auxilium till my class 10th.
Same.
When I got out of school and when I joined some other school, it was a co-ed school, okay?
Okay.
And life changed differently.
In what ways?
In ways, because we were always kept under a shield, okay? We were like always protected, like this is like a world, there's but the world outside Auxilium was very big and was practical, which in school I felt we were too protected, too cared about, which was not in the not a situation in the normal world. But when I came out of Auxilium, when I started doing my 11th and 12th, and I thought that life can throw challenges at you, and this is the way you have to deal with it. But in school I felt we were not given challenges to deal with, we were not shown the path.
I would somewhat agree with you, but from a different angle. That Auxilium, yes, it did shield us. And because we were talking about discipline and we were talking about being very caring, I think sometimes what that would do is that would make us think, because they would pick out and they would notice every single thing. It would make us very aware of the littlest things inside us, about us, be it how we are drawing margins in a paper,
Yes.
or be it what we are writing in the last page of our notebook. Things might be that, but we would think, oh my god, always have a chance of getting questioned, we always have a chance of our morality being in trial. But when I came out to the world, what it would, and I feel like it still does to me in some situation, is that it makes me feel very anxious about things which might not be that anxious, right? I will overthink things. If something is to happen, I would think that, oh my god, if it concerns me, it concerns every aspect of me. Like, oh, I'm going to be, this of mine is going to be criticized, that of mine is going to be criticized. And it never occurred to me, and I have got the reference of this from two places, and I'll name it. It never occurred to me that the world is not about me.
They don't care, right?
They don't care. And there are two people I came across. One was a TV show and one was real life. I was once very stressed out about something, And I have been nagging about it to my best friend every day. And one day she sits me down and she says, to them, I was like, it was something about, about me having a conversation with somebody. I'm like, oh, how are they going to interpret it, this and that and that.
Right.
And she told me, and it was about something important. And so I thought, oh my God, if they don't like what I said, they will probably, they will not try to talk to me again. I will not get, what will I do? Like,
Right, absolutely.
And this also, like, it did concern me a lot. So what she said was that, to you, you're the most important person in the world. It's like, if it's a beach, you think you are the sand castle, but that person is just another tourist who's viewing 100 other sand castles in the beach. So that person does not have time to particularly look at your castle and be like, oh, why can't this design be better? To them, it's just like, oh, another castles, and even if it gets washed away, that person won't even notice. So that person is probably talking to 100 people regarding this or something else, and they probably didn't even give it a second thought. And the second very beautiful, and that did strike me, and I was like, oh my God, I actually think that. I think I am the most important person, but what I don't think is that if I have a conversation with someone, post conversation, how much time do I invest thinking about it at all?
Right.
I don't. And another reference was, I don't know if you watched the show Schitt's Creek.
No.
So there's this very famous character of brother and sister, David and Alexis. So David is going for this driving test, and he's very panicked because he always fails during driving tests. And Alexis was like, you think that, oh, this concerns you? The person who's going to supervise you has probably had hundreds of tests done during the day. So that person does not care. So to you, you are most important. To that person, you don't matter. And that was true. Like, in the next scene, it was shown that David was driving and that person was just browsing the phone, looking at him for once, because it doesn't matter. He had done like 4 tests that day. So this is a very important reference to, because we are talking about auxilium. As students, we were really looked after.
Yeah. And
right?
I thought that that was too much after a point.
Yes, and in real world, it makes me very anxious.
I agree with you.
I think about things only keeping me centrally, but the world does not revolve around me.
Exactly.
Sometimes it did come up to me very harshly. I'm like, oh my God, people actually don't think of me as important as I do. But sometimes it's very important to know and move ahead in life, knowing that, not everybody cares about you the way you care about yourself.
Absolutely. I think, I totally agree with you. Because, we were like too taken care of, like those fragile little things that will break. But, we were never put into the outside world, and, we were like, ठीक है, गिरने दो इसे. एक बार गिरेंगे, 2 बार गिरेंगे, तीसरी बार खुद उठ जाएंगे ना. But every time we would fall, they would pick us up and, they would tell us, no, you can't fall down. So that was something that is still there with me. Like you said, you're anxious. I think I overthink a lot. I think about scenarios that cannot, in my worst dreams, be real.
Right. We overthink. I'm like, oh, what if that happens? And what if this person thinks that? And what if this person thinks that? How will I answer to this? Why will that person bother asking me? That person does. Nobody in the world has so much time.
Right, absolutely. And it's okay. I mean, it was maybe their way of just showing us that, the outside world can be cruel.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes
alright.
It's great to be prepared.
Yeah.
But not always. You don't have to over-prepare yourself always.
Yeah, now this is a defense mechanism.
I feel so too. But is there anything you'd love to add? I think we have had a wonderful conversation today. And we have come almost towards the end. If you'd like to add anything else, please go ahead.
No, I think we're like good to go. I think we've like touched topics that are like a priority to me at the moment.
Correct.
So yeah,
and
I
also
think
to many. I think.
Yeah, I think this is something like the young generation. I think the generation after us are going to face this because we have too many options.
Absolutely.
And after a point of time, we think, no, this is boring. No, this is that is boring.
No, but I think as long as we are choosing, I mean, we have the freedom to choose. It's okay to have the freedom to
right,
choose.
Absolutely.
You cannot, it's okay to not be sure about everything at the first go. It's okay to, just be like, okay, yeah, this is not for me. Maybe I should try something else. And you might not like that thing, but you should also have the option to come back. So it's okay to choose. But yes, with too many options, we have to be careful
Careful.
that we are not wasting time on the
Right.
go.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pooja, for
Thank you
joining
for
us today.
having me. It was lovely talking to you.
Same here. Thank you.
Thank you.